It's history. It's got a rich and deep history, and a lot of it is based off of Japanese prints that are, date back to the mid 1800s almost. But those are the artistic influence to what turned into the Japanese Irezumi style of tattooing. You see a lot of imagery, like mythological imagery, and that's really where it all stems from. And that art and those prints are a great foundation to even modern day practice of Irezumi like I do. Well, I think a lot of people get tattoos to help their self-image, to improve how they feel about themselves or to improve how they want others to perceive them. Half the people out there get tattooed because it means something to them, and the other half just get tattooed because they like the way that it looks. Or in some cases, people get tattoos, especially certain Japanese style tattoos, that signify overcoming great odds. Pain is definitely part of the process of getting tattooed. It's definitely a rite of passage. I started tattooing in the mid-90s. Tattoos were really kind of still looked down on, especially if you got them in a super obvious place. It was an extreme stigma that I lived through. I come from a pretty artistic family. My mother was at her workstation at home every day, 10 hours a day, working on different art projects she had going. Good friend of mine that I grew up with began tattooing in a shop in Deep Ellum. He got me into tattooing, actually. He knew that I was artistically inclined, and so he hooked me up with a machine and some inks and all the other basics that I needed, and did my first tattoo on myself at a kitchen table. And it looks as bad today as it did when I did it. When I began tattooing in the 90s in Deep Ellum, the tattoo scene was kind of slim. There was only a handful of shops, and there wasn't really any definite style. I started my own shop because I just got sick of working for other people. It wasn't that I didn't like the other people, it's just it felt right for me to have my own place. But I knew that I wanted to have a shop that produced solid work. Like everything that walked out the door looked great. Well, I was already into the American traditional, and the foundation of American traditional tattooing is a solid, clean line and solid color and balanced really well. As people started to come in and request smaller Japanese style tattoos, and then they started to progress into larger Japanese style tattoos, I started studying it as much as I could. And I realized pretty quickly that the foundations of Japanese tattooing are kind of the same as American traditional. And I figured if people are going to be coming in, getting this stuff, I should be the best I can at it. And I just wound up falling in love with it immediately, because there's a very big challenge to doing the Japanese tattooing. As far as the design process goes, What initially happens is the customer will come in for a consultation. It usually takes 20 minutes or so, and we'll discuss what the main themes of their sleeve or chest piece or back piece will be. But for me, the more artistic freedom I have to make it look what I think looks cool, the better tattoo they're gonna get. I don't draw or put a tattoo on somebody that I wouldn't like enough to put on myself. So I always use that as the bar. At that point, I book them for their first appointment, and then my job in the meantime is to look at all the notes I took in the consultation and transfer that vibe I had with the customer at that time, along with their reference and ideas, into a drawing. And the drawing is like the foundation of the tattoo. And the first hour is basically me printing on the main designs. And then I take pens and draw on all the backgrounds, filler. So in Japanese tattooing, you'll see all the water and the clouds and all that, and it's all black and gray. So all that's hand drawn on the skin. When I'm tattooing, my mind is definitely on the tattoo. I'm focused on getting the cleanest lines that I can, and the more that it comes together, the more fulfilling that is to me. And it's a real thrill. Just, I could sit in a chair for 5 hours tattooing somebody, and as it gets closer to that 5-hour mark, it just becomes more exciting and more exciting. And we get done for the day, I clean off the tattoo, get a real good look at it, the customer takes a look at it, and to me, that's the big payoff right there at the end of the session, when things have come together.